How is it going, everyone? It's Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about another video game. This one is called UglyDolls, an Imperfect adventure, and I picked this game up on a whim. I saw the art style of it, I saw the way it looked, and I just thought it looked really cool. It's one of these games that has this 2D art style, but you're walking around in a 3D space, and I think this design for a game is so cool. This is something that's starting to pop up a little bit more. There's another game that also looks similar called Demon Turf that I want to play eventually. But I picked this up. This game was only $9, brand new, physical. So I figured for $9 it's worth a shot. I sat down and I beat this game in one sitting. Now it's not a very long game. It's only 3 hours long. But that being said, I still enjoyed the 3 hours I played of the game. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing mind-blowing. But it is just a nice, fun, relaxing game. This is a collectathon platformer game with crafting elements and also a nice sandbox to run around in. You have quite the nice sandbox world that you are able to run around in with very pretty graphics. The art style is very nice. Like I said, you get that 2D style, but in a 3D environment. It's really nice. The colors pop very well. I didn't notice any sort of muddy textures or anything. All the textures looked great. Everything about this game looked absolutely fine. And in fact, I would say that the game itself really looks good. It's very cartoony, very bright, very colorful, and that's something I really like when it comes to these games, especially the games that are put out by Outright Games, which is the publisher of this game. Outright Games usually does a pretty darn good job of making their games very colorful and very cartoony. So that's something that I noticed, and it's really good in this game as well. The actual gameplay is very smooth. There's never any sort of problems with the gameplay. It plays just fine. The actual collecting and everything, there's a lot of different stuff to collect. There's a lot of different quests. You can pick up multiple quests at one time and do quests for different characters. And I think that the way it's done is pretty well. I didn't really worry about going through my quest list and like selecting my active quest. I never really worried about that. I would just pick up the quests, and whatever quest I picked up last, that's the one that I would focus on, basically. And then I would just worry about, going back and finishing the other ones as I kind of went along. The crafting system itself is actually pretty good as well. Usually when it comes to crafting in video games, it's usually hit or miss. This one is simple enough, and they give you plenty of supplies to where it doesn't feel like a hassle. You're always opening a box, you're always opening up packages to get more supplies, so it never feels like you're going to be completely out of supplies, because you know that these boxes will respawn eventually, and you'll be able to go back and pick them up again, and that's something that I really liked as well. In terms of this game's difficulty, it's not really difficult. There is a chance of being, I guess, not really game over, but I guess losing a life. Not even losing a life, because there's no lives. You can be defeated, okay? That's the easiest way to put it. You can be defeated, but there's not really any real consequence to it. It just basically resets you at the very center of the map, the home base, basically where you're you can go into this hub area. It's like an underground lair, and it basically will set you back at the entrance of that lair whenever you get defeated. So there's not really any real punishment there, but I don't think that there really needs to be, considering that this game is, not really a super serious game. It's definitely more a cartoony game. It's definitely made for all ages and stuff like that. So I think the difficulty is very easy. You're mainly just going to be looking for, it's just basically scavenging stuff. You're basically going to be going on a massive scavenger hunt, finding things, avoiding robots that are chasing you down and trying to get you. And there's a bunch of different robots who have different abilities. There actually are some achievements for getting hit by certain robots, because each one of their abilities will do something different. Some robots, when they hit you, it will actually teleport you to a different area on the map. Some will hit you and it will invert your controller, so you'll be running in all sorts of different directions if you're not used to playing inverted. Some will actually like bull charge you and hit you, and they'll launch you, a few feet back. And for each, one of those, you actually get an achievement for each one of those if you're able to get hit by each one. I think it's 10 times each, so you actually get achievements for that. So there is quite a bit of enemy variety. However, there's not really a good way to defeat them. you can lay booby traps, and the booby traps will seal them, and then when it opens up, the robot will be gone. So I guess you can defeat them, but it's usually just easier just to run from them, honestly. When it comes to any sort of way to fight back, the only other way to fight back other than the booby trap is a bubble gun. You can hit them with this bubble gun, and it will basically lift them up into the air, and they will be immobilized for a little bit, and they won't be able to attack you. But it only lasts for like 20 seconds, and then the bubble will pop, and they'll be able to move again. You also can get these things that are basically lures. They're these little radios that will attract the robots, and you can set them there, and they will all go to the one area, and you'll be able to avoid them when they're all stuck listening to the radio. So there are ways to combat the robots, but there's not really any like super action or anything in this. This definitely is not an action game. If anything, like I said, this is just a very laid-back collectathon game. It's still fun, though. I enjoyed it. You know, for $9, I don't really think that you can go wrong with that if you're just looking for something different, something unique, and something that has a really pretty art style. The achievement list is very easy. In fact, if I want to 100% this game, I just have to go back through it and play it through one more time, just as the other character, and I'll be able to 100% it. So, you know, easy achievement list, fun gameplay, very relaxing. I was able to just sit down and play this all in one go, and I did enjoy every second of it. There wasn't really any time, you know, where I was getting annoyed with the game. It is a little bit repetitive, of course, because you are constantly collecting items, and you're crafting items, and you're going back to the people who you got the quest from. So yeah, it's a little bit repetitive because there's a lot of fetch quests. However, I still think that it's fun. I still don't think that it's, you know, even though there's a lot of fetch quests and it can be repetitive, I still think that it's still fun, even though it's repetitive. And at 3 hours long, it's not like, you know, you're going to be stuck there grinding for hours, you know. At least you are constantly progressing, and it feels like the chapters move very quickly, and you're able to get through the game very quickly. It definitely does not overstay its welcome. So overall, I definitely like Ugly Dolls and Imperfect Adventure. I will go through it again, and I don't know when I'll do it. Probably not anytime soon, but I will go through it again to get the 1,000 gamer score, to get the perfect gamer score. I'll do that eventually. I enjoyed it enough to go through it again, and I just think that for $9, it's definitely worth giving it a shot. So go ahead and check out Ugly Dolls and Imperfect Adventure if you're looking for something that's just very relaxing, something different, something fun, something very colorful, and something with a very beautiful art style. Because I love these 2D style games where you get these 2D characters in a 3D world. I think that's such a neat thing, and I really like that. And all the platforming and everything, all the puzzles, when there's puzzles in this game, they're all good. This is really actually a good game. It's just short, but for $9, you can't really go wrong. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe button down below. I'll talk to you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.